Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. Well, we're on the E7s here, and what I've done is taken the thermactor bump out, and that's something that I really don't like about the E7 heads. That's very bad for performance. It was something the factory did back in the day, and removing that bump, all you're really doing is getting rid of restriction. And I did have a segment where I showed how to remove that, but it didn't come out right. So we're starting from here, guys. And I will say this. I've seen questions if you can take this bump out on some forums. Yes, you can take it out. And actually, you have a very lot of metal there. So I left this one so somebody could get an idea if they were just to take that bump out, how thick this really is here. And the roof angles up here. I don't know if you can tell or not. But one thing you can go by, fellas, anybody just wants to remove the bump and that's all they want to do, you can go buy your stock casting here, and that's how much metal that you can take out without going through. But one thing you do want to be careful of is if you're grinding this bump out, you don't want to keep hitting the hole. You want to just level one side, level the other side, then try to even it out consistently across. Sorry about my hand in the way, fellas. You don't realize when you're doing stuff that it's showing up different on camera here. But I have this port more straightened out here. Now I want you guys to understand something. When I'm trying to show you guys this stuff, I'm working across a tripod here, and I can't really hold the angle exactly how I want to hold with my trustworthy bit here. I'm all the way back here, guys. So yeah, see that? I just did that. So for me to shoot over top, it's making me hit the phone right here. So I can't quite get on things how I want to. It's either show you guys or not show you is what it comes down to. And one thing I want to do real quick, I don't want to jump around on here. I want to do one thing at a time. And the next thing we're going to be doing right here is making a nice path from the guide out to the side of the port, and I'll show that in a minute. But I do want to show this, fellas. I did a segment the other day talking about if you're just going to throw a pair of heads on, and I kind of went over that a little bit. But I hope you guys can see this. Look at all the flashing down in here. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Performance-wise, unfortunately, this isn't picking up exactly how it really is. And it's a shame because this is a big piece of casting right there. So, and I wanted you guys to take notice, this is how bad the bowls are. So we're going to even this out. And as you can see, the guide sticks up right back here. So we're going to cut the guide down, and we're going to even the roof out all at the same time, somewhat. So let's get on this. Instead of me talking and wasting time here, we're just going to do this. So I get the head set back up here. A little bit of light. some light on the subject, right fellas? So I hope you guys can see. So we're gonna make a nice path for the air to be able to move out of this port. It doesn't really do it justice on film, but the port on the E7 is very small, where there's not a lot of area for the air to get out on these as it is. The exhaust is the most restrictive with the way the air can't come out according to common sense. You would think that thermal bump would actually block most of the air coming out, but if you round the areas around the bump even and widen the port right here, because I don't know if you guys can tell, it's actually, Ford closed this port off. It goes over and it closes off on that side. So that's another thing we're doing. We're making a straight path out the port. So even if you had that bump in here and you widened it on the sides, that would help. And with the E7s on this side of the port, up around the guide, the metal gets very hard right here. And this is one of the areas that I like to clean up. It pinches way off on this side, and so I'll grind quite a bit out of this corner right here. So, I don't know if you guys noticed when I blow this metal back out how easy it's starting to go out this port now. So there's a couple of different ways you can do these ports. If you just do a cleanup, you can just taper the port around the guide right there. That's how most guys do it. But guys, I can't help myself. We're going to take this whole guide out. I just have a problem. I don't like the guide. It's restriction in my book. And I'm going to take the guide out and then we'll compare it to the side that has the tapered guide in it. Because I did kind of taper this in a tiny bit. A lot of guys say you don't pick up anything by removing the guide as far as flow numbers. Well, it's not a flow number thing with me, it's a restriction. So, I hope you guys can see okay. There's so much feedback with the light and everything here. But, that's just something I do. And, if somebody didn't want to do this, you can just see the difference already. That's with the guide just tapered down on the sides. Not severely. I mean, you still could do more to it. And you could cut it back even more on the sides here if you wanted to. Or you can do that. So, you're like, oh, Terry did take that guide out. Maybe he is getting crazy. No, I'm not getting crazy yet. Because I'm trying to show this where the average guy can do these heads. That's what this series is about. So you're completely safe taking this guide out. And you can tell when to stop by going by the top of the stock casting right here. So if you just keep it level with that, you know you're in good shape and you're no danger. So if anybody wants to do it that way, they can do it that way. Now that's going to be, in my book, a performance gain over that. But in the real world, most people just taper the guide. That's how that would be on most applications. Somebody would just cut this back, make a little path where the air can get by the guide more, cut the guide down maybe a tiny bit more, and level the roof. That's how most guys would do it. So that's what we've done here. Except we got a little bit more aggressive. So, believe it or not, guys, there's still a lot of metal in here. So, I think this is better than the other one. So now, what we're going to do is make this better than this. Like I said, the port, I already kind of cheated on you guys and leveled this, rounded this port out a little bit here. And if you notice, like I said, they're not that way from the factory. They close off on this corner. So, making a straight port. Now when you do this, I should say, you don't want to go cutting back into the side of the wall of where your bowl goes. You want to just concentrate on what you're doing at the minute. Make sure that the bit doesn't start digging into the bowl back here. Concentrate on the roof, making your line back, and we're going to take some of this wall out and even this out. That's in the plan here. that's the stubborn corner I'm talking about, guys. So, I'm limited how I have to do these videos. And I'd really like to kind of do this in a little bit different manner. But I want to show you fellas this. If you just do a cleanup and take the bump out, you're also leaving the roof beveled where it comes up here. When we're done leveling all this out, and then we taper this and take all this excess metal out, we are actually raising the roof, fellas. I don't know if you noticed that. I put a mark here already from a gasket I had. And I don't know if you guys can see the difference. How this bevels up. And this is starting to taper in. Where this, if this head was flipped over, it'll be ramped up to get that hot air to come up to the top of the port. You're probably thinking, oh boy, he's starting to really grind there. Is he going to go through? Well, I don't like how it looks. We're going to just keep grinding. Pretty restrictive, huh, fellas? Now when you're pouring this head, you want to just make sure that you stay consistent, stay straight. Don't be digging in one spot. You can feel the castings change and you'll feel the bit grab, but don't overcompensate and fight too much. Just let it keep leveling itself out, because we have tendency to start digging in spots. Just let the bit do the work and keep it moving, fellas. All we're doing right now, guys, is rough cutting in. This isn't making anything pretty. This is just getting our shape. What you don't want to do, guys, is go through, is dig at one spot, because less is better than more. If you ruin a pair of heads, then there's no going back unless you have them welded and all that, and there's no sense making yourself a problem. And another thing I'm after here, I like to get the roof a little bit wider than the floor. That's just something I do. So there's surely no fast way of doing this, guys, especially when you're using a bit that's 10 years old, probably. And this is just a basic idea of what to do. And I wish I could go through more detail and do this in a one-time segment, but it's too much to cover. So I hope this is helpful to everybody still. And